Right now at noon, police in Neosho, Missouri are searching for a suspect in a shooting that happened Tuesday.
We've got showers continuing across the area, the fog continuing across the area. We'll talk about that forecast, about some snow chances. You heard me right, snow. And warmer temperatures coming up.
And Joplin business owners came together for the annual Business Expo.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
The Kansas Highway Patrol is investigating a wreck involving a Columbus USD 493 school bus and a truck in Cherokee. This is KOAM News at noon. I'm Amber Jenkins. According to Cherokee County Sheriff David Groves, it happened near the intersection of US 40 and Highway 7. Groves said that the collision involved a Chevy truck and the bus. He said there were some injuries reported, but none are life-threatening. According to a Columbus USD 493 spokesperson, the bus did have students on board. The superintendent is at the hospital with students and parents. Police in Neosho, Missouri are searching for a suspect in a shooting. It happened around 7:30 Tuesday at the 800 block of Riverside Drive. When officers arrived, they were told a man, 40-year-old Freddie Rodriguez of Neosho, was found in the street with gunshot wounds in his left arm and armpit. He was then located at the hospital in stable condition. Authorities say the suspect shooter is 21-year-old Jose Rivera, also from Neosho. They say Rivera and Rodriguez know each other, and Rivera ran after the shooting. A warrant has been issued for Rivera's arrest. A Baxter Springs, Kansas man will spend 50 years behind bars for child sex crimes. A judge yesterday sentenced 40-year-old Jeremy Strout to 50 years in prison. In November, Strout was convicted of 3 counts of rape and 1 count of aggravated indecent liberties with a child.
And we're continuing to see some showers across the area, fog out there as well, and of course, those cloudy skies. We've got the bulk of the rain now stretching into the northeastern portion of our area from Nevada back down to Monette, Mount Vernon, Cassville, Stockton, Osceola, and then we've got a little loop around back here in parts of Greenwood, Elk, and Coffee counties in southeastern Kansas. We're still dealing with fog, though. MoDOT cameras around the metro that the fog, of course, has improved, but as you can see, there's still some reduced visibility. It's just not nearly as bad as it was. And same from our camera on the Cornell complex. You kind of have to look out in the horizon to see the fog, but it is definitely there and it's not going to quite let go. Again, though, visibility is greatly improved across the area, though still reduced in locations. And as we go through the day, we're going to see that fog return this evening. It could be dense at times as we go through the evening and overnight hours. 37 is where we started yesterday, so now we've gone well above normal, but with the clouds and the rain and the fog, temperatures aren't moving much, so we made it to 45, right where we should be, and we're still ahead for precipitation for the month. We're at 43 in Joplin right now, 40 in Pittsburgh. You can even see a little bit of fog out there as well. And temperatures around the region, again, Iola, Yates Center, still a little cooler in the upper 30s, even Fort Scott, Nevada, but the rest of us, most of us, starting to warm into the low to mid 40s across the area. Now, I did mention snow. Unfortunately, that is something that we're going to see in the next couple of days, but there's some good news, some bad news about that snow, and some even better news once we get to that 7-day forecast, and we'll talk all about all of that here in just a few more minutes. Amber?
Thank you, Chris. Kansas Governor Laura Kelly yesterday announced the recipients of the latest rounds of grants from the Historic Economic Asset Lifeline, or HIL program. The program helped revitalize downtown buildings. 5 Southeast Kansas organizations received funds. Nearly $51,000 are going to Chanute Regional Development Authority. The cities of Columbus and Parsons gets $100,000 each. Girard Main Street is getting $10,000, and the Independence Chamber of Commerce gets $100,000. Well, it's police versus the fire department in the Battle of the Badges in Pittsburgh. The 2 departments are competing in their annual chili cook-off with the American Red Cross. People donating blood yesterday and today can try both pots of chili and then vote for their favorite. Organizers say the event has brought in more than 100 signups for donations. The fire and police departments both say the competition is heating up.
Ours is better because we put so much time into it. Like I said, it's a smokehouse chili. It's something a little different. It's not just your average chili.
I believe we're going to bring it home again this year. We kind of change it up a little bit each year, who makes the chili. You know, Around the fire station, there's lots of recipes floating around. Everybody has their own secret.
The winner of the Battle of the Badges will receive the 2024 trophy once all the votes are counted. The public yesterday got to know some Joplin businesses better. The Joplin Area Chamber of Commerce held its 31st annual Business Expo. It started Tuesday evening with a business after hours event for local entrepreneurs to network. Then Wednesday morning, business owners had the chance to check out all the booths set up. The public was allowed to explore the expo starting at noon, learning all about what the area has to offer.
We continue to see growth. We continue to sell out every year for the Business Expo, and we see new businesses. We're always seeing new businesses participate in Expo, but we also have our regulars that come back every year, which we appreciate.
This is the 31st year of the Business Expo. A Miami nonprofit is asking the community for help. The Community Crisis Center helped those who have been affected by domestic violence, sexual assault, and stalking. Their resources include a 24-bed shelter in Miami. The center is asking the community help with their growing need for women's undergarments, including socks, bras, and underwear in all sizes.
Oklahoma is #1 in the nation for rates of domestic violence, so our state is at crisis levels. We are continuing to grow our service numbers, so it's really important that these services are accessible. They're 24/7, and that's something that we rely on for the community, is helping meet the needs of the people coming to stay with us.
Any donations can be dropped off at the Community Crisis Center Advocacy Building in Miami. That's a look at today's top stories and weather in your first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM News at noon. We'll learn the next steps for the Carthage City Council after they postpone the decision to censor one of its members. And later, we're making Granny's moonshine pie in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. Carthage City Council members are planning to discuss the proposed resolution to censor one of its members in the next meeting on February 13th. The decision to delay the discussion was made at Tuesday night's meeting. The council member at the center of the discussion is Tiffany Causey. KOAM's Fernanda Silva was there at the meeting.
The council meeting to decide whether Tiffany Causey would be censured was a busy one, with all seats taken. In the agenda, the discussion about Causey was scheduled to be a closed session. Causey and some residents argued that the council should have the discussion on the resolution open to the public, but it was kept as a closed session.
This is illegal under the laws of Missouri.
Our legal opinion disagrees with that.
In an interview before the meeting, City Administrator Greg Degnan explained his perspective on the reason behind the decision.
There are city employees involved and there was an HR investigation, and so that is protected. However, because she is not an employee of the city, because she is an elected official, any censure or discipline for any council member always has to be done in a public setting.
For Causey, the decision to go to a closed session is questionable.
I'm pretty sure that that is illegal. So because there is an employee involved, it may fall into a gray area. But when a council person, I am not an employee, and when a council person is being censured, that type of thing is supposed to be open to the public.
Just after 10 p.m., once the closed session was over, council members voted to table the censure until next meeting.
Ample time to prepare a response. I've only had about 31 hours notice to prepare for this type of thing, and in there I had to find time to sleep and go to work 2 times. So I've had almost no time to prepare, and I feel that it would have been unfair for them to have continued with the resolution tonight.
Before the meeting, Causey explained her perspective on why the resolution is being proposed.
A lot of the complaints were that I invited citizens to come to meetings, that I thanked them for coming, I thanked them for participating. A couple of times in the list of complaints was that I advised people to call City Hall or call their council person.
There's a HR complaint or a human resources complaint that led to a very large investigation that is causing it. I really can't share that because it is protected by our HR policies, but that is what initiated this.
According to Degnan, a censure is an opinion of the council, that they disagree with the councilperson's action, but that doesn't remove the member from the council. We tried reaching out to all the council members and the mayor before and after the meeting, but only 2 answered their phones and said that they had no comments. KOAM spoke to some Carthage residents to hear their thoughts after the meeting.
I thought that it should be an open meeting. I thought that they should be able to talk about it, and they chose not to. I think there again, we don't have clarity, we don't have honesty, we don't know what was said, so usually if you don't know, your mind goes to it probably wasn't good.
I feel like the citizens stood up for what's right. They're demanding transparency and ethics to our city council. We support the First Amendment. We feel like our voice has been silenced so much, and this is just the latest step in silencing the voices of the citizens and people working for the citizens to ensure transparency.
In Carthage, Fernanda Silva, KOAM News.
You can read more of the full story in more detail at KOAMnewsnow.com. Still to come on KOAM News at Noon, Mr. Food.
If you love the Beverly Hillbillies, then you're going to love what we're whipping up today. It's one of Granny's favorites.
But first, we are tracking more rain and that possible snow as we head into this upcoming weekend, plus warmer temperatures. So don't panic yet. We'll take a look at that full forecast right after this. Welcome back to the KOAM News at Noon. So we've had fog, dense fog this morning, some patchy fog out there, not as dense now, and we're dealing with rain. And we can take a look at that on the KOAM Skywatch Storm Tracker. There's the big shield of rain that really got its act together, bringing us some light to moderate rainfall, stretching from Nevada, Osceola, Butler, back down to Stockton, Cassville, Monette, just getting out of it, and it continues to lift off to the north and east as it swirls around here. And here comes the backside, which could still clip some of our northwestern counties in southeast Kansas with some additional light showers. The other thing we're going to have to deal with is continued fog. Now, the good news is yesterday before the noon news, right before, the fog advisories in Kansas and Missouri were extended through today. Today, they have not been. They were allowed to expire at noon, and of course, the ones in Oklahoma and Arkansas expired this morning at 9. We still have patchy fog out there, but as you can see, visibilities in some locations are reduced, but not as significantly as they were this morning. However, there's still that possibility for patchy fog through the afternoon, evening, and overnight, and some of that could be dense at times. Now, once the rest of the rain gets out of here, some of us may get a few peaks of sunlight before the sun does set out there, hence mostly cloudy skies for us. Otherwise, we're going to remain cloudy, and they're going to cloud back up through the evening and overnight hours. A few showers possible tomorrow afternoon, but it will be the evening when our next opportunity for rain will start to roll into the area. It's a little slow to do so, but it'll make it here. Then, as we head into early Saturday morning, here comes the snow. There it is. But I also want you to pay very close attention to these numbers that you're seeing where we're also seeing snow. That's an actual expectation. We're going to warm in the low 40s. Now, with the snow and the slightly colder air with that, we're going to fall into the upper 30s. We're going to remain above freezing is the expectation. So what we're expecting Saturday morning and then exiting by the afternoon is a heavy, wet snow. So it's going to come down heavy. It may even reduce visibilities a little bit at times, but it's not expected to stick to the roads or sidewalks, anything like that. It's going to stick to grasses and rooftops. And grass and rooftops may get about an inch, possibly 2 of snow, but roads, they'll be slick, but they're expected to remain clear at this point because we've been too warm and the roads are going to be too wet for it to stick, and the snow's already going to be wet on top of that, and it'll just melt right in. All right, MoDOT cameras around the metro, rain, showers, a little bit of drizzle. We've still got some patchy fog out there. The clouds are a little higher, but even on Messenger Towers, you can see they're still clipping it a little bit. As soon as this one loads is the KDOT camera south of Pittsburgh. Looking better, but you can still see we're still contending with some patchy fog out there, and you can see that from our camera at 7th and Rangeline. It's 43 in Joplin. Does feel a little cooler, 38 with a west breeze around 9 miles an hour. Over in Pittsburgh, we are sitting at 40 calm breeze, so it feels like 40. And again, temperatures around the region up to the northwest still a little cooler. We've got some mid-30s, but we're in a blend based on whether or not it's still raining and how much fog you still have out there. We're into the mid-40s out there, so not doing too bad. Still looking to make mid-upper 40s for most of us, a few peaks of sunshine. As we head into tonight, we're going to have the clouds. We're going to have some patchy fog, calm winds, staying dry back into the upper 30s and low 40s. By tomorrow, mid-50s, ahead of the incoming rain chances out there. And then we head later on, and next week, that's what I wanted to show you. Take a look at Wednesday into the 60s and upper 50s as we head into next week with some rain chances on Tuesday. So we're going to have a bit of a roller coaster ride with the weather here, but it's going to work out in the end because it's going to be fantastic as we head into the next work week.
I gotta say, that 60 is looking pretty nice.
I'm enjoying it already.
I can't wait. Thank you, Chris. Stick around. We're making Granny's moonshine pie in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. We'll be right back. What we're making today isn't your grandma's pie, unless your grandma's a fan of moonshine. We're making Granny's moonshine pie in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
We're having a blast here in the Test Kitchen with our week-long tribute to retro TV shows. And today, we're highlighting one of my personal favorites, the Beverly Hillbillies. I always loved how Granny could cook up just about anything that Jed, Jethro, or Ellie Mae brought to her. With so many interesting things being cooked up in the Clampett kitchen, it's no wonder the show inspired its own cookbook. Now, even though the recipe I'm going to share with you today is inspired by the show, don't you get nervous. There's no vittles, varmints, or smoked crawdaddies in this recipe. I'll give you a hint, though. Granny was often caught sipping it when no one was looking. If you guessed moonshine, you're right. And once you taste Granny's moonshine pie, you'll know what all the hubbub is about. It's basically a simple custard-style pie made with a splash of whiskey and served with a dollop of fresh whipped cream that we're sure Granny would have added an extra splash of moonshine to. The easy recipe for Granny's moonshine pie is on our website and is one you'll love whether you live in Beverly Hills or off the beaten path. I'm Howard with Kelly in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found Granny's favorite way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
You can find this recipe along with a lot more good food from the Mr. Food Test Kitchen online. Just go to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Now here's a look at your 4-state market prices.
All right, we're looking at some additional fog possible out there. Could be dense at times, but the good news is no advisories. We're going to have some showers clearing out. More showers tomorrow night, warmer, mid-50s. Possible rain-snow mix, but we're looking at accumulations mainly on grassy surfaces. Cool for Sunday. We warm up next week into the mid to upper 50s and pushing near 60 by Wednesday.
Yeah, next week is looking good, so
that's looking a lot better.
Well, coming up tonight at 5, early last year, many analysis predicted a recession. That never happened, and new data shows the economy has remained resilient. While the economy is showing strength, there are signs of a slowdown in 2024. Plus, celebrate reading and learning with a One Book, One School reading event. And a Southeast Kansas landmark is back open and bringing back some memories. Join us for those stories and more at KOAM News at 5.
And we want to thank you so much for joining us for the KOAM News at Noon.
Have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you at 5.